Accounts Committee.
My name is Victor Palolo, member of the committee, Kenya West.
Maui East.
Over here is Sam Duroy, Buteti West.
Boniface Mabeo, Kamalete.
Uncle Shimamunaching, Honorable Molepola South.
Uncle.
Le Petri Lesedi Seroy South, member of this committee.
Thank you very much. We also have the staff from the Attorney General.
Kawelina and Deputy Government Attorney General's Chambers.
From the Auditor General.
Keneilwe Senyarelo, Acting Auditor General. Kenale.
Janet Mahana, Deputy Auditor General. Thanks.
From the Accountant General.
Good morning. My name is Grace Ndise Kwababe, Deputy Accountant General. Kenale.
Kutsefalo Amen, the Acting AAG Accounts.
Yes, DIS, you can introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Chair. Today I'm with my Deputy Director General, Mr. Monamo, to my left.
Mr.
Monamo.
Monamo.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I do have my Public Relations Officer, Mr. Robert, sitting next to Mr. Monamo. And I do have Mr. Manyanda.
Sorry, what's his name again?
Mr. Monamo.
No.
Robert, sir. Robert, sir, he's my PR, our PR. And lastly, I'm with Mr. Manyanda, who is my Director of Finance. Thank you, sir.
Where is the Director of Finance? Okay. So where is your deputy? Ramunam is here. Okay. Thank you very much, DIS. Have you introduced yourself?
I'm so sorry, sir.
I thought maybe you are well known.
I'm the Deputy Director General, Retired Brigadier Peter Fanamahosi, sir. Thank you, sir. And
thank you very much, Ramahosi. I get to tell how well my now kita tiro. When I get to the my kids, the late, he had a good name, Spanner. No, he's the Director General. He has his deputy with him, and the Finance Director is here. Thank you very much. You've been summoned to give evidence in this Public Accounts Committee of the Republic of Botswana. You'll be expected to give oath. You may choose to give oath by way of the Bible or by way of affirmation. Mahosi, which one do you choose?
I would choose to do the Bible.
You choose? Oh, the Bible. Thank you. If you choose the Bible, put your left hand in the Bible and raise up your right hand. You've been doing it for quite some time now, I know. Is that your left hand? Okay. I. Your name?
DG, Retired Brigadier Peter Fanamahosi.
Swear by Almighty God.
Swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give.
That the evidence I shall give.
Before this Committee of Parliament.
Before this Committee of Parliament.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
And nothing else but the truth.
And nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Finance Director, it's your turn. How do you choose to take oath? Hey, and then put up your right hand.
I, Batso Kevin Manyanda,
swear
swear
by Almighty God
by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this Committee of Parliament
before this Committee of Parliament
shall be the truth
shall be the truth
and nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. The way we choose to proceed, DG, we are going to ask you to speak to the executive summary. And we don't want you to go to town on it. 5-7 minutes, just summarize the executive summary. And then we will give members of parliament, members of the committee, a chance to ask questions and seek clarifications on the issues. I know you have been here before. I know you know that we are a very friendly lot, and feel free to explain, be as truthful and as honest as you can be, because you are under oath. Thank you very much. Give us your executive summary, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Sir, we are so pleased to be summoned before this committee today to account, as it is our responsibility as different government organizations, to ensure that the responsibility given to us is carried out diligently. So, firstly, I would like to appreciate the fact that the PAC, on an annual basis, expects us to account for our activities of the previous year. In the previous PAC, sir, we tried by all means to indicate to the PAC that we are limping in one way or the other, because unlike all the other security agencies, we still up to date, since the formation of the organization up to date, we still don't have the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Security. And this committee, sir, is very, very vital, because our administrative issues are supposed to be taken to this committee to be able to guide us, to monitor us, and to supervise us. However, I'm pleased to say the other committees that are the Oversight Committee, being the CIC, being the PAC, being the CIC, PAC. These are the committees where we, from time to time, account to them. And our biggest problem, sir, is the funding for all the activities of the organization. In my summary, in short, we are talking about the limitations that we have. We are talking about the capabilities that we would like to build that will be able to assist us to take this country forward in terms of national security. We are talking about the remuneration of the employees under the DIS. We are talking about the issue of accommodation, transport, and many other support services that would make it easy for us to move forward. But basically, sir, what we really would like to request is for the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Security to be put in place, because that way we will not be able to have excuses, because we'll be having a committee that we account to on a daily basis. In the previous financial years, we've had a lot of cases that were taken before the courts. And some of the cases being those cases that we believe, had we had the committee in place, some of them would not have gone to that far. However, I, as accounting officer of the organization, I've always made it very clear that we all have our constitutional rights. Where any individual within the organization feels that she or he is not being done justice, he's got the liberty to go to the courts. So that is one other issue that we saw a lot of activities in that area where some of the members within the organization felt aggrieved and felt that they should go to the courts. I believe, sir, with that short summary, I've tried to cover the tabulated executive summary of our report. I thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. We take it as read. That's why I said you should be as brief as possible, and you have been very brief. I thank you very much for that. I am now looking at members of parliament to ask questions. Before they ask questions, before we ask difficult questions, I think you have actually made an appeal to us that you are limping because of the absence of the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence. That is noted, Ramahosi. We note it is a matter that we continue to engage on. The circumstances around the absence of that committee is that it didn't look like it is a parliamentary committee by way of its selection and nomination. So there is an issue around that, but we continue to engage it. So we have heard you. Secondly, in the last engagement with you, when I was a member of the committee, we did talk about a specific issue, which I think you and your public relations officer have worked on. You remember I talked about the drama and the public display of power when you handle suspects. I think nowadays the situation has ebbed somewhat, right? So at least thank you for that one. We'll talk about other issues. Is that you, public relations officer, who helped with that one? Because there was a lot of drama. People holding guns and everywhere, sirens, numerous cars following a singular suspect. But yeah, I see some improvement, Director General. You are doing your work quietly.
Thank you, sir. This is why I touched on the issue that in this previous financial year, we will see a lot of cases going before the courts. Because there comes a time as a leader where you say enough is enough and you take an action.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done, sir.
Yeah, at least that one I want to give you credit before we go into other areas where you may not get same credit. He wanted to come first. Did you want to come first?
Okay, thank you.
And then you come.
Yeah, I can saying, Director and the rest of your team. GIS is the animal in the room in the country. Hone motho ha ka botsa ka recruitment patterns tsa lona HR hore na re go go GIS kwa le recruiter ka tsela e ntseng jang. Transparency. Whoever is the headship, whoever is responsible, picks hela ki direct appointment hela. Agona mo go twing la ka iteka le sego batho ba go roga re tsore expectancy yele batang intsi la tsika bophara. Ya mo go tsama yo hala go pikiwa motho ale one go tse mama ya no ke director sa mama ya no ke deputy director sa mama ke ne headship ha ro wa ro le ba sa mama yo ke sa mama yo na tsala ga sa mama le re go tsaka tsela e ntsenya a me yo ne efficiency e te hela sente gone kwa in terms of productivity, in terms of go itse gore ha to dirwa mo tirong yone. La go twe motho o recruitile ha re wa reetsa nna re motho yo o recruitile o tswa ka intelligence o ka itse ka tsela e ntseng ya ha o bone mothala le dira ya of lately re utlwa go teano Madibela Thopo ke bone ba ba gorogang ko yano one Madibela Thopo ela re a itseng batho ba modimo la tsele le tawa kana me le tawa di ke intelligence sa bobedi ke komite ya mapalamente. Yes, but I think we all know what happened in the past. Gore ne re sa dumalane le tse pedi tse tharo ka ha ne re dumela gore di a etsa ga e tsamaye sente ka teng ga e ranwe sente ka teng ga e gate sente ka teng. It's not within its mandate and we are not going to be part of that. Re dumalane gompieno gore that committee should be there with the hope that there will be a paradigm shift in the way DIS you operate ka yone ka teng ke dumela gore e tla nna teng. Issue of funding, yes, right. Government, of course, yes, does not have funds in abundance. But how at the same time, happily, na kila parliament ke la ke khatse ke du to ka dia se ke potsa rani mosola go e funda ke ka gore go le ba re isa madi go tshenyo ha ile gore ha gona accountability mo DIS, then why should we find an institution that does not account? Ha ile gore ta utala madi a tshwarang ka disekri sa ka hela motho a tabola hela go sa itse gore o tsere bokae gone mme ke ba maru go tabola hela. What kind of an institution would be that? Now what's in where it's a gore ke di khatsela se ne re uta go te ye no supa batho ka mona ana hela be ba swa ile le sole a gore tsala re ke di khantse di ntseng yalo gongwe you need to verify to us gore your accounting processes in terms of bomadi le tse dingwe hela jalo di ntse ja gore you know batho ba ba le mo DIS ra ba itse re tshela nabo re godile nabo. And when you see a person over now, but this person, I have struggled more than him or her, more botshelo, but it's a very luxurious life. How can't they, comrade, dira la kae motho ngo ka bona mahula matala nako o italo re ke DIS
OP
ora me motako ka re me ene hela intelligence o ka ikgona ka ke godile nae but ke o tsela botshelo hela jo ile gore re mo mathate. Of course di khantsa di khota tshekelo wa di bua ba bereki le bone ba ba le mo DIS ba lela thata gore ba kolotiwa ha ba duele sente ka tsela nngwe and all that. So yone le bo khakala bokae go e hetsa in terms of go ba duela. And then go na le khanye bontsi jwa setšhaba bo dumelang gore there is an overreach ya DIS hand dio se tshwanang tsa dithopo ha go diragala dithopo be le gore you know the officers there batho ha le ha wa botsa nna re batho ba le ke bo ma go te ke DIS but do we really need DIS gone ha isn't mapodisi ba reinforcitswe ke masole ba le visible are they enough? Then why do we have Nathan, because you have a reputation as an institution, an intimidating reputation for that matter, of which you need to clean up. And once you are there in some sensitive areas like Zaditopo, especially the and all the sorts, how may not cause for conflict unnecessary. But if you the DIS was not there, issue ya di tender gore in the past o ka re le nile le tsole le ntsinyana mo di tendering gore na rone me intelligence and tenders, because if it's PPADB it's PPADB, it should be doing its work. Ya no mai le gore go ta wa di wa tendera and then mo na le intelligence ya gore is in company or hang company. What kind of intelligence was used there? What kind of information was used to come to that particular decision? And it costs you look at my water works project, whereby a company was paid something like 112 million for hotel tender in a audit. That's a lot of money. Yeah, it's a lot of money. We are talking about a school there, one or two. Or maybe we need to do things better. Public service here, how le ba go godimo kwa ke di acting. Harwa botsa bo PS, kante PSP, kante hati acting o kana mo public service ki wa hey, ho le ba sa mbo go vetiwa. Ho le ba sa mbo go vetiwa. Ao, le pateletsa batho ta batho ba modimo. Le feta insa se kana se public service sa bereke. Kanta ta vetting ya lona. Why should you be vetting Botswana ba bereka ka hore ha ile hore ki issue ya tshenyo? The processes tsa tshenyo. And lastly, the elephant in the room, la bo Lodge.
Yes.
Go na selo se video ata Tuna Lodge. Ho ira hala e go lokwa. You'll answer. Le rekile me mo dibukeng ha go supe 58 million go supa madi a go tase ga go na di phologolo tse di mote di ile kae? Di taule di kgomo. Gompieno ana e dirisiwa eng hela. And the Kema Yotza Madia thing, Ayakai. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DJ Lihira Jan.
Thank you, sir. Neke kupora gisi mo le ko tlase mo ngame ke go godimo if I may be allowed, sir.
That's fine, that's fine.
Thank you, sir. Mongame ke a leboga sir. Ke ne ke kupora gisi mo le ka Tautona. It's not Tautona Lodge, it's Tautona Farm. Yes, sir.
Meaning that there is a farm and a lodge.
Mongame,
or what are we saying here?
As security organizations, there are operational requirements. You look at police, you look at BDF, you look at DIS. There are certain areas where they own land for the operational purpose. Less than 5 kilometers from Tautona Farm, there's a farm at BDF.
There is?
There's a farm at BDF. Less than 5 kilometers, beach. Mongame, if you look at the costs at which the land that is owned by the BDF was procured for, it's much higher than the land that was procured by the DIS. If you look at the size of the land owned by the BDF is much smaller than the size of the land that is owned by the DIS.
But Chairman, we're not here to compare BDF to DIS. I agree with you put at this Tautona land.
Yes.
Answer, stick to the answer about that land. Here the comparison, BDF like Garabella.
I'm trying to...
BDF is coming.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to justify. Secondly, that farm is measuring, I think it's about 4,000 hectares. In that farm, 4,000 hectares, sir. In that farm, there is a lodge. There are 3 boreholes. There were cattle. There were wild animals. The reason why we acquired that land, we needed it for the operational purpose of the state security. As a state security, the operations are classified, or say, they're not out in the open. What we do in that area, sir, is for the benefit of the organization. Having the lodge in there was an added advantage, which we still require for operational purpose. When we acquired that land, there was an argument there for this land now that is going to be 100% owned by government. Why can't the profits turn into government? We are the only country in the world so far that does not do covert operations in this way. That is the first thing that we have done, Mongane.
Could you kindly repeat that?
We are the only country, the only organization in the world, that will not be able to do its covert operation without being taken out into the public. We're the only country. Intelligence is a peer, that's how it is. What we need is to be able to account for each and every penny that we spend, and that we have done, Bangani. What we do with the lodge.
Let me just say this here.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. Because we are dealing with Tuna Lodge, and I know members have got interest in it, so I'll give them space to ask you questions on this one. It may be a bit on the longer side. I want you to state in the here and now under oath that farm is a DIS farm. Because we have had several answers in Parliament, both coming from the previous administration and this administration, talking about the Tuna Lodge and the Tuna farm. And the perspective you are bringing today is different from what we've been getting. So on record today, you are saying that Tuna Lodge is a DIS farm.
Mr. Chair, through you again, nekere gore go nne le better clarity, re kgone go follow. This issue is raised in the Auditor General.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the issues that exist or appear on the executive that has other issues, and then this one will come late. Otherwise, we are going to spend too much time on the Tuna Lodge, which will confuse us and not actually help us deal with
Other
the
issues.
report. Yes.
I guess you're okay with that, gentlemen? He's trying to give guidance to say this looks like a very popular issue. We'll have a lot of questions, but it still comes under the Auditor General. So we'll then raise it there. Are you okay?
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman. Through you, Chair.
Yes.
Ke ne ke re go ngwa gape se se ka nnang botlhokwa thata ke gore the accounting officer ke lemoga gore o ka re o tsaya nako e ntsi mme a bapale potso tota nna ke letso ame ke gore a nne specific to the answer ke gone mo go ka babalelang nako Mr. Chairman re emetse go botsa mme ga e le gore re ka tsamaya ka pace re tlo helela re sa botsa.
I accept your guidance that maybe we should look at it when we are looking at the Auditor General's report. And I will beg your indulgence, Honorable Kgonegile, so that we can defer it to...
Na ke tsela gore he's halfway into his answer. Ya no to abandon it, be re ba re boela ko morago gape ra go etsweledisa kwa. Ya gore jala nako.
Okay.
Let him complete with his answer. Let's say arabe dipotso re ya ka re buditse. Ha ile gore wa arabe.
No, I don't think that's the way to go about it.
Wait, well, I'm in charge. I obviously would weigh what members are saying. It does look like you guys decide, remunerating and real estate. What are you saying? Continue?
No, ke dumalana le Honorable Progolo gore very soon re address the summary.
Okay.
Me gape ke dumalana le Honorable Kgonegile gore potso se buditswe. The accounting officer is halfway.
Yes.
Me ga se yone hela chairman kana. Gore na ne kere a re hetse ka issue ya Tuna farm.
So we will not raise it again at the Auditor
So that we
General.
don't...
It will be done with it. Actually, it's the main issue there.
Me gape, chairman. Let's do justice to these meetings and examinations. Ha ile gore re hella nako e cha accounting officer as a hetsa ampolo rena ka kwa re sa hetsa. Can't we be granted time again gore re tswelele?
On that one, we are so timed because we are going to have 3 weeks compact. So we may not have additional time. So I think I'm convinced by those who say continue with Tuna Lodge. And I have asked a question. I hope you note it. The question is, you are saying on record, on oath, that Tuna Lodge is the DIS farm against what has been said in Parliament several times about it.
Thank you, Mongame. On record, sir, I'm confirming for the Tautona farm is owned by the DIS for operational purpose. As part of government, it's government property, but it's owned by the DIS for operational purpose.
Are you privy to the answers that have been given by different ministers of presidential affairs or state president about the use of Tuna Lodge?
I'm very much privy to that, sir.
What would you say to those?
I'm saying this thing today because, Maran, it's been going back and forth more parliament. What I'm trying to do is to set the record straight for Botswana hore ba tlhaloganye hore that place is owned by Botswana government, but e rekilwe ke DIS for the operational use ya yone as the organization.
But are you aware that at some stage it was even suggested that part of the land will be available to the people of Hansi to use as residential plots? Is that part of the use of Tuna Lodge that you know of, or that was just a lie?
I am in a position now to disclose operational issues, which is not the norm. But for the sake of understanding, I feel compelled to disclose the operational purpose of the land. As intelligence, Morena, our duty is to keep the country safe. In our analysis, we have realized that there are certain areas where in the long run, in the next 15 to 20 years, whichever government will be in power at the time, will have a problem. Hansi right now is surrounded by farms. It's a small place. It's a strategic decision that we have the responsibility as intelligence to be able to assist the nation. Today, some countries, people are fighting over land. But we said, are we going to wait until we should have looked at this thing into the future and done something about it. Morena, our intention was to keep on buying farms around that place. Though we had
for operational purposes, you say?
I'm coming there, sir. Though we put this early and operational requirement, it is our responsibility as intelligence to ensure that we safeguard the nation by all means. So today, that was a clandestine operation in the regard as the state security. But today, you have stopped that from doing that. 10, 15 years down the line, you'll then realize for it. But so
it was
that opportunity.
Sorry, sir. It was a clandestine operation that, among other things, caused us as members of parliament, in parliament, to be told untruths.
It's not untruth, eh?
You know, it's untruth. I mean, at one stage it was the land would be set aside for residential purposes. At other times it was set aside for research. We were being told half truth, according to you today.
It's not untruth. That is exactly in line with what we were doing as the state security. That land, anytime when government needs that land, government does not have to go and buy land at a high price. The land is there. We give it to government. It is not the only one. Tomorrow, how would a requirement of land elsewhere? It is why it's for government.
Okay.
Can I chip in?
I know members would want to ask additional questions. I still have a few more to put forward to yourself. So.
Thank you, Chairman. Raliboga re magosi ka dikarabo tsa gago. Bekere I'm a real estate person, I'm a property valuer. Maybe my questions will be related to such. restricted to such. One wonders as to whether, for operational purposes, you need such a big land of 4,000 hectares. That's question one. Two, whether you really needed to have a hotel. Like you say, yes, it's Tuna Farm, but it has a hotel there. And I don't remember hore the room di kae mme di ntsi tse leng hore one wonders hore anong ha gona le hotel mo teng di room di le dintsi, and as we speak it's open to the public. Motho wa tlaela ba a buka a ba nna ko a duetse gore tota akai go tsena batho ba duela ba nna mo teng a purpose ke gore le dire madi ampo mabaka ke eng gore a bjanong batho ba kgona go tsena like any other hotel. And for that matter a re gakologe le gore yanong kana e le ya gormente e le ya DIS, you're actually competing with the business community, di hotel tse di leng kwa. Se sengwe ke gore yone mehela e kana you can't buy a property of that magnitude. It's a valuiwa. It's a must gore e be valuilwe go itse gore we are getting, you know, money's worth. Gore I evaluilwe, ke bo mang. Because valuation, real estate is a profession like any other profession. You can't, as a government, we can't get motors engineer this building adire engineering drawings for it. So culturally it should have been valued by a qualified registered valuer so that it is actually worth that property is worth that money. And so finally, I've passed so I often use that road. I've passed by recently, and at one point it was undergoing very serious renovations. So having been bought at 58 million or so, the renovations that were done thereafter, Dinedi, Costa, Bokai, and what is the occupation rate? Hotel in rooms, and one would not expect in White Elephant. One would expect that, like any other hotel in Botswana, you could be going at 40% occupational rate, 50, 60, 70 or so. What is the occupation rate? So those are my questions, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you're right. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Negre, on the valuation report, was this property advertised by its previous owner, or it was the DIS taking the initiative and looking at a property to buy? And that might also just, like you were saying, help with the valuation and the price. And then secondly, on the price that was paid, this money initially, because we understand there are slush funds in the DIS, or was this money coming from the slush funds, or it was budgeted for or you want to buy some land around Gantsi? And how much of that land were you intending to buy? And thank you very much.
I think you should take the two questions, or questions from the two honorables.
Thank you, sir. The question in the valuation and occupation rate. The valuation was done by government, the responsible ministry, Bako Lands. They have done the valuation.
It was done by who?
By Minister of Lands at that time.
Minister of Lands.
That's right, sir.
Just there. Through Chair.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I heard Ramna.
Yeah. Korionate profession ya real estate ya value. We can have evaluation prepared by ministry, by department. There should be a person who values the property and sign, because responsibility has a value sentle. So I would wish to know who actually valued that property. If I, as a valuer, I give a report to banking and ministry and I actually have to sign it and indicate I am a member of real estate council. I'm allowed, permitted to prepare evaluation and sign it. So I don't know whether you would remember the person who actually, the valuer who actually signed the report.
Khabe, through you, Chair, it's quite strange that the buyer would be the one valuing. How does the buyer value? It's a million for.
Thank you, sir. The process in place is that any property that we as the DIS procure, the valuation is not done by the DIS. It's referred to the Ministry of Lands. There will be a person who will actually do the valuation and sign. So that information, Mungami, if I'm given the chance, we could get into the files, get that particular information, and bring it forward. So, Mungami, it is not us who value. We procure so many things, houses, vehicles, and everything. We don't value. What we do is we ask for, when as the owner of the property, you give us your value. We take your value to the ministry responsible. They do the evaluation. After that, it's up to the buyer and the seller. Do we negotiate? Are we going down, or we forget about it? So that process has been followed throughout in this farm.
So there's something wrong here. You are telling us today that there is an evaluation report for Tuna Lodge sitting somewhere at the Ministry of Lands. And if we do ask for it, you shall make it available to us. Is that what you're saying? On record and oath. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do confirm that there is a evaluation report. If it's required, we'll be able to provide it, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
And then the next one, in the area, the profit. What do you do with the money as and go delay? We use the money we feed back into the hotel for development. And the rest of the funds, we convert it to our operational use in our operations. And then...
So you are doing business here?
No, sir. Operational activities, not business, madam. Operational activities. In fact, this is one of the things.
So, through you, Chair.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to establish if the operation activities were not budgeted for, now that you get fund from the hotel.
Thank you, madam.
But is
Sorry, Kuri, I don't understand here. This is a government department. It's running a hotel. A mandate outside, an activity outside its mandate. And the money does not go to government coffers. It gets into the department coffers. Are you saying that?
Yes, sir.
Is it within our public finance management processes and policy in the country?
It is within.
And sorry, sir, through you, Chair.
Yes, please.
Is there anybody who audits this process? How do we know whether they made 10 million or 5 million or how much? Who's in charge?
Yes.
Auditing Mongame,
Manga di arabe di thata ganinyana. Di thata ganinyana.
not justice to the others. Auditing Mongame, since 2018, DIS has been audited annually.
No, this particular property, this particular commercial investment entity, has it been audited? I think that was the question, was it?
Yes, sir. It has been audited as part of the audit that was ongoing in the previous year. Auditor General conducted a full-scale audit. And I made it very, very clear to the Auditor General, you will audit everything. So everything has been audited.
So Auditor General, yes, we know you audited DIS, but have you audited the operations of Tuna Lodge? Have you audited the operations of Tuna Lodge?
Thank you, Chair. The last audit we did was on the acquisition, which we reported that it was not in the books of government.
Acquisition was not in the books of government.
Yes, we saw them. I mean, it's supposed to appear in statement 18, but it's not in statement 18 as reported.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so you did not audit the operations? Like how much is making, occupancy rate, you then get an idea as to how much money it makes in a week, in a month, in a year?
Those would come in the subsequent years.
Okay, so you're only interested in acquisition?
It was the acquisition at the time.
Okay.
Through you, Chair. Maybe a question should be referred to the Accountant General, whether a government is allowed to run business and money doesn't reach revenue, but it goes in its cover.
Yeah.
But I think, Chairman, your question.
Wait a minute, because you say maybe I misdirected the question to the Auditor General, but maybe supposed to be the Accountant General. That's what, Accountant General, is this a proper way of running government finances?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe let me start by indicating that all revenue accrued for government goes into the consolidated fund. This is through the government remittance account. And like the Auditor General indicated that we do not have the asset there, Tuna Lodge, in our statement 18, where all assets of government are recorded, whether in the country or outside the country. Therefore, we wouldn't know what is the agency using that for. In event they want to put the revenue into the government coffers, ba kwala chair, ba kopa a revenue vote, and then you will see it in statement 2.
Thank you very much.
She
wanted to clarify something.
Follow up.
Sorry, she wanted to clarify something, technical support.
I thought you really need to, maybe the Ministry of Finance, this hotel. Or is it, can we say it's an investment, and how should, I think that should also guide how it should be recorded. Because kind of statement 18 would be the assumption or it's operating like a operate a hotel, me. I will say we'll get dividends, we'll get what. So clear that, so that we know how to account for this.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I agree in terms of how it could be addressed when it comes to accounting. But currently government is on cash basis of accounting, so everything is expensed. This is why her agency rekile farm, it will be an asset and it should be contained in the books of accounts as an asset. But we do not have that. Yeah, the technical advice maybe we need to sit with the agency. Is government going to get any dividends or any revenue? I think it's something that can be done. So we'll arrange with the director. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Diwa,
I was saying if
you wanted to follow it up.
If indeed this hotel or lodge belongs to government, will it be wrong to say maybe money generated from that is in an individual's pocket? What will tell us that money was used by government?
Yeah.
Chairman, Chairman, I think that's a more than 20. God, let's give him opportunity to respond. Otherwise, we are going to be all over the place and get confused.
It's saying we can write a clarification.
Follow-ups as now face.
No, sometimes you need clarification, but you are right. Let's give him a chance. But the last question that has been asked, if money that accrues from the hotel is not going to the accountant general, will it be wrong to assume that maybe it is going to a personal pocket? That was the last rider that we got.
Thank you, Mungami. Answering the last question, the DIAS is open to any audit that will be done. And I can assure you, Mungami, we will be able to account for each and every penny that has been made from the hotel. Bangami, I know it becomes difficult for you to understand. Intelligence is not like any government organization. It's different. It's very, very different.
To Chairman,
It's like your clarity,
yes, sir.
Honorable Sedi.
Thank you. Nya ni kera my accounting officer a re clarify la gore me aka gompieno ba accountant general ba thalosa go ka auditiwa jang di assets tsa di bua di sa supege gope mo dibukeng tsa ga government ba ka di audita jang a clarify go no.
In addition to that, follow-up, Chairman, sorry, sir, through you.
You know, you are not now offending me, you're offending Honorable Monageng. He's very structured. He wants things to go in a particular way.
So, we looks like we need more time with this. But let's say, how would they hide a local payment bookings are hormente? You're not out on a farm or lodge. Lisi ya famwe imoline la gama
mo de ga gore
And how much was the budget? You can actually afford to buy a property at 58 million. Thank you.
Maki,
Can you answer the ones that?
nya, ne ke ra heleletsetsa Tuna Lodge.
No, what are you
No, ke follow up mo go tsene di boditse ke batetegi. Ba ne ba supile ba boditse gore gongwe go tlhalosiwa gore ka go lebega go ne go na le dingwe ya ka diphologolo le dikgomo le ditau. A tlhalose gore di kae.
Thank you, sir.
Nna ne ke kopa go gakolla chairman.
wa gakolla yana?
Me ke gakolle gore mogolle Ramagosi. Re motsa diposo di ntse me ga a kwale. Anong utlo na confuse keng mothusi wa gago go a sa kwale dipotso tse a bana gore a re o arabile wa re e ga iso ya. Otherwise a ka ne ke bua the way we are going e kare re ha Millennium Just Restaurant re iketile nyana a go kwalele ka re diposo di ntse. Thank you, Chairman.
Go ke monna intelligence o kgona go tshwara dilo se. O mo lemogile gore ga o kwale le wena right wa kwala ke ra
Ba record.
o tshwangwa ke dilo tse di sa tshwenyeng banna ba intelligence o ra rongwa ba na le di-gadgets. But again they can also go listen to this more Parliament Facebook and pick other things that they have missed. But Helen Miano, for purposes of answering the questions, really they must record so that they can answer the questions. Pani ba buditse tsa motaleletsa ke re ready ready to di arabe raiso.
Thank you, Mongami. Mongami ha ona a buile ka gore diphologolo tse di mo teng di le ko kae. Ka tsimola ka ga Mongami hati. Ha re buisana le monga plus plus mme a bare le ya nkgakolla Mongami
Gore ha o kwale wa wena o tsamao le bana.
no se ne ke tsore ka araba Ramona ke ne ke kopa gore ha bogolo ba botsa ke kopa gore ke yona go ha ba babedi ke be ke ba araba gore ha bana ba ntsi ke ne ke sa kwala tsele ke be ke a letsa dingwe so ne ke kopa gore ha mogolo nkgakolotse e ratse letelang ke be ke hiwa chance ya gore go botsa ba bogolo ba babedi ke be ke ba araba Mongami.
All right.
Yeah.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, sir.
O itse re go ha re tlo go tsaya nako.
Yes.
Re tlo go tsaya nako. Go bata yanong re thatosa maoto. Ke eng re sa riana. A re mo he chance ya go araba tsa di kwadileng. Ha go setse sengwe re ta motsa because Jan is coming back and forth and we are not being productive.
No, I hear you, but reta bona gore ha sna go di araba tsonetse go ka tswalwa go tsa jang, that shall be my call, right? Right.
In earlier occupation rate
No ka no atatsela ba diesa ba robala teng ba duela.
Occupation rate le gore ke eng e buletswe setšhaba le gore renovation e nile bokae after e sena go rekiwa le gore babereki ba duelwa ke mang wona ha le di kwadile ha le to go lebala se nya o ba pilelo a ke ga batle kwano batla go bolela o ba pilelo wena a kwala ba ntsa gore ye le ye ka re we are serious here.
Thank you, sir. Occupation rate, I would not be in a position to give the specifics Mihala, I would say comfortably say, Mongani, the occupation rate should be general with the other hotels, Mohanzi. What we would then do, we can go back, get the information, and provide it within the next 7 days. Lay the other information we have now actually dug into the operational part. There was a reason why it was a shaba. So, give me the smaller to move so deep into the operations.
Yeah.
If I may allow, if I may allow, sir.
Slash funds budgeting, you did ask around that. Are you able to relate to his question?
The payment slash fund the normal government procedure.
No, that's not the question now. The question is, the acquisition, was it ever budgeted for, or it was a by the way at some point?
Thank you, Mangami. It was budgeted for. Every financial year, we come up with our requirements. There was a budget, there was a requirement for accommodation. Now, when you say accommodation, it can be office accommodation, it can be residential accommodation, it can be accommodation as such as this hotel. We would not be saying, I need accommodation for housing Balikana and all that. We put it as accommodation estimated this amount. So therefore, because of that, Bongami, yes, it was budgeted for, sir.
Okay. Now, maybe the last questions. You have indicated that the hotel or the farm, by the way, was bought for operational purposes. In the same vein, you talk about national strategic interest around land. Was this farm bought for operational purposes or for national strategic interests? That must come very clean, because in there is located a very big contradiction. If it's operational, now also national strategic. I think that must be reconciled and be aligned, number one. Number two, a lot has been said about Tuna Lodge, particularly in Parliament. Ministers, present and past, have attempted to answer questions around Tuna Lodge. Are you saying today that all explanations that have been given by ministers, present and past, all those explanations today in this examination fall out? They were not true, they were all false. I want you to come clean on it, because today you have indicated that this farm was procured for operational purposes, though you also include national interest purposes. So please, the two, if you could help me appreciate them.
Thank
because
you, Moami.
Maybe there's been a lot of lying going on in Parliament.
Thank you, Moami. All the answers that were given in the past co-parliament, they were true. Procurement of any strategic issue, there are two reasons: national strategic interest, organizational interests.
Operational.
Which is organizational interest, which is operational. So all the answers that were given in co-parliament, they were given under the auspices here, the national interests. That's why they are not wrong. As we speak, Mangami, right now, after the discomfort of Bangarnoko Parliamenting, after the procurement of Tuna Lodge, we have procured yet another farm.
Yet another farm?
Yet another farm.
With a lodge?
No, say.
No lodge this time?
Without a lodge. We have procured yet another farm. We are looking at the strategic interests. The operational interests will plug it in, but those you cannot disconnect, Mongami. There's a strategic and the operational. So what we had to do was, to do things in such a way that it will not cause a lot of discomfort, more botsadi marona go parlamenteng. We then spoke to Minister of Land to say, Minister of Land, we are very much interested in that particular place. Therefore, can you do the procurement on our behalf? We have done that. The fund has just been handed over to us a few months back.
So this one, the new one has been procured by Minister of Lands.
Exactly, sir.
Or which I think is the proper.
No, it was procured by Minister of Land on our behalf.
Yes.
That's right, sir.
And for Tuna Farm, it was a different method.
It was a different method. This is why we have decided that let's go this way so that it does not cause a lot of discomfort more than Maroon.
Yes, there has been a lot of discomfort around
Exactly, sir.
Tuna Lodge.
That's right. Mikala mongame, nkile ka kopa my minister. Ke mo kopa bara. Ne re kopa re fiwe slot. Re tle go nangola. What is intelligence to botsadi ba rona go parlamente? I wish you could be given that opportunity. It will assist us a lot to understand why intelligence is doing things the way it's doing. What is the most important thing, Morana, is to account.
Yes, but you see, people can also hide behind intelligence to do corrupt activities. It's very possible. And that is why people get worried.
Exactly, sir. But re kopa gore re thusiwe ke ona le botsadi gore re kgone go dira tiro ka bonoko pila ya go tshegetsa setšhaba. But you cannot help us if you don't understand what you're doing. Mme ha re ka fiwa tshono e ya gore re tle go nna hatshe le botsadi ko parlamente and explain phologolo e go te intelligence go toba eng. E dire tlo ka se re ntseng jang. It will help us a lot moving forward. Right now, I on record say, because of the questions because of the way written look at it, in the next few years, this country will have a problem.
Yeah, I think we are moving away from it. I've heard you said you want a slot where you'll address members of parliament about intelligence. I will obviously be talking to the speaker. Oversight intelligence agency. Oversight. Basically, that is what you are saying. Speaker, there is intelligence to do corrupt activities. But anyway, I think let's close Tuna Lodge. We close it saying we would expect you to deliver documents. Are they delivered to you, Mamli?
Those relating to payment is on Kosiame. For our but this is the valuation and the title and the lease here.
Yeah. So the valuation and the title should be with her office within a week, which you said even tomorrow you can bring it. Thank you very much.
Modular still. Procedure, Mr. Chair.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to share with the committee that, as the DG has alluded earlier, we have audited the DIS, and as I also stated earlier that we audited the acquisition. We have a report for the audit that we conducted, the last one that we conducted. It has details on the farm. Some of the members were mentioning the animals and the hotel inside that has such findings. And we did not include it as part of the AG's report because we considered that to be confidential, and we were trying to comply with Section 21 of the Public Audit Act. And we had hoped that the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Oversight would be operational so that we can go and share such with the committee. So we do have a report that has details on the farm that is not part of the public report, and the AG determined that it should be presented separately.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auditor General. I think we should move on to other issues because we have been bogged down into the issue of Tuna Lodge, and I think it was worthy of being canvassed at this length because it's an issue of concern to members of the public. Honorable Lesedi,
Yes, sir.
you are not on Tuna Lodge, right?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, ke batla go botsa tse di seng. Ke lemegile gore ha re botsa ka tsela e re botsang ka yone, dipotso tse dintsi di tla tlogelwa di sa arabiwa.
No, they come here.
Nya ne ke re gongwe pele ke botse DG gore gongwe le galo se tsa lekile go yama mme ma ke heta ka yone. Tota gona gate what is DIS? Gongwe go tlhalose gore DIS ke eng. Mme a le gore o ka re mo dikarabong tsa go araba wa supa gore ke sengwe se e leng gore se sireletsa lehatshe. Gongwe o re bolelle gore a me o dumela gore lehatshe le la Botswana with DIS a le safe.
Una makinele repologolo ba piele nna ya no nna nkubetsa ya. Right.
O monela ka yo ne.
Me a kere go ne go na le dipotso ne ke tse botsa re ke kgonegile on the side gore go ne go na le dipotso tse na di buditse ke tsa gore DG ka gore ga kwale mme o ka re wa kwala yana go ntse go nna botoka o ne a buditse dipotso di le mmalwanyana ke tsore a wa di gakologelo tse na botsa gore na le hira jang ka ba ka utlwa ke nna uncomfortable hare ba bangwe ba na ba gaisa ka go kgaratha ba hirilwe ba lebega ba dira sente mo botshelong re nya gore o di arabe tsotlhe le ya ga re phologolo
Nya ga ke se ke hetse.
a se o hetse wa simolola
So re nya ke a tsena.
wa tsena
Nya mme ma ke supe gore potso e tabe e latela kere. A mme accounting officer o re solohetsa eng ke batla gore a nne very clear gore o re solohetsa eng ka gore gongwe mo pusong e hitileng re bonya kgokgontsha lehatshe ka tsela e tsitsibanyang mmele a re tswelle re solohetse go bona botshelo jo neng a re tshedisa ka jone mo nakong e hitileng kana le gale gompieno ta ipaakanya gongwe potso ya bohelo e ke eletsang gore gongwe a re tlhalose ba
obvious statement se o se loaded rona kgokgontsha lehatshe thata o na le dikai ka mapedi hela
o nya di teng se
ke ra mo gakolola
di teng
ka kgokgontsho ya gagwe
di teng se gongwe le ha bone tiro ya bone ka ra ya raba ya ma gore o ka tshwara a mme how share information ke a go kgontshong yana how share information e se tsenye shareilwe already kana we forward a hela a gone mo ne le sengwe sa dilo tsa dumelang gore di tshosetsa security sa lehatshe ke sengwe sa dikai
ora ya me ga re matoti
ya honorable Matoti nya wa itse ke ra gore
ke se kaisanta
ska isa bobedi tota go gontsi gongwe ke go tshwarwa ga ba neng ba tshwarwa mme a re ko phelelong ya letsatsi re ithelela gore dikgang tsotlhe tsa ba neng ba tshwarwa ga di court ebile ko phelelong ya letsatsi ga di nne le bope bosupi
ora Dr. Maseka o ka re wa o mo sekiri ya bitso
Bo butterfly.
nya ba bantsi ka nna Dr. Matseka e ka nna ka bo jaaka nne re bona gongwe bo butterfly and bo tshekedi kgama ba bantsi ke ra gore go phelong le tsa gona space se se dule ya bohelo makere gona le menahuna kwa a re thatsetse gore a menahuna ya gore bangwe hela mo setšhabeng e kana ile ba bereki bangwe ba puso kana ba maphata ya la sela ikemetseng ba na le kamano le DIS mo e leng gore ba mogela ka payroll ya DIS gongwe sengwe sa dilo tsa kwa re di thatsetse because setse re tshabana gore ma ke la yana bangwe ba nka gore ke le DIS. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes. Make na ke tla itebaganya le dintlha di le pedi. Accountability. Here it's one from the executive summary. Le welfare. I'll start with welfare. Eneng bua ke Ramagosi. Onare re sologele go bona a lot of cases ke tsa kere ora tsa babereki ba itela ha pele ga makgotla. So the first thing that comes to mind ke gore goha DIS, do they comply? Do they follow the same rules and laws? Tse mongwe le mongwe a di sala morago. Tse di tshwanang le bo tsa bo employment. Do they follow melao e appeara mo Public Service Act? A mid case on it. Are they not, as a result, they are DIS leadership e kgokontsha kapo e sa reetse kapo e sa follow tsamaiso ya phiro ya melao ya phiro? That is one. Go tsong ho ye nngwe ya bobedi, like I was saying, ke ya salaries. Ke tsa kere when people are interdicted from work, they continue to draw their salaries in full. Or in the event where DIS yone ikile ya tima bangwe madi ele babereki, what are the remedial action that you are going to take? And there's an issue as a charge that appears in the Public Service Act. In most cases, it hits hard on junior officers. Sometimes somebody in an accounting position will take decisions that at the end, simply because they believe it's not their money. Excessive amounts of money. But an action an accounting officer is my labor. Does DIS have incidents where Leone has taken those decisions? And have they ever settled some of these matters outside court because they were on the wrong side of the law? On the issue of accountability, you mentioned some of the committees or agencies, I don't know what to call them, that you account to. Question would be, are these really active committees? Because not only the parliamentary committee is non-existent, but and how often do you engage with them? And how are the engagements conducted? Are you, as a unit or as an agency, make a call and say, Lona CIC, we need to sit down and you look at how we do our operations? Or they have the little powers where they can summon you to come and account? So those are the two. And then on a closing one, the role of the DIS. As much as the public seem to believe or overlap on top of the overreach. Overlap and what are you doing as an agency to stick to your lane and not go into lane anyway? It is not your mandate to do so. Public confidence. DIS seem to have lost confidence here, the public. How much of the money that you get or you budget for is intended to try and bring the public into accepting le dira wrong way? Because the reality is you've lost the goodwill of the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nekere udi arabe ya litigation. Agitura o ka tsona le go peha o ka go bonang. Ha o ka re thusang gore mme madi a hetse la duetse la duela ka gore la sekisiwa. a ka tsamaya kae ka o itha go ntse o nya ba seka go tsala le duelo ya ka attorney general mme ala ke re ha ile go o na le lesedi la gore madi ao a ka nna bokae ya hetsela duetse maybe in the last year and or the last 2 years. Thank you very much. You can take the questions of the 3 honorables.
Thank you, Mangame. Ne ke kopa yana se gore ha ke sna go araba dipotso tsa Mangame. Ke letlello ke bua le go tse di ko morago tse sa reng ke di kwadile. Gore ke le tsone tsotlhe se.
All right, that's
Thank
fine.
you, Mangame.
That's fine.
Yes, Mangame ke tla simola ka accountability. I believe gore the fact that I, as accounting officer, took a deliberate decision to say, I want us to be audited. It is because we wanted to ensure that our accountability is in line. In terms of confidence having been eroded from the public, I believe we continuously do as much as we can to redeem ourselves out of that by so many ways as we engage with the public. In terms of people who litigate against the organization, bana ba rona mongwe le mongwe o na le the constitutional right gore a ye go ikuela. We have had a situation where our officers, Baba numbers are from the government security, but I took over in 2018. I sat down with my legal advisor and gave my legal advisor my opinion. They are right. And therefore, we are going to agree. We went to the tribunal, which is one of the oversights, and we told the tribunal, we do agree with the grievances, and therefore, we are going to pay them. The second one, in Elia Bana Baba Nimbari.
Bana ba o rama dia ese la bana ba tona.
Akere ke ba gona ke mo re ka re ka ba bone.
Nyale ke batla o clarify ka
Yes, sir.
bana ba.
Manya ke ra bo officer mo ngame. Now, the second one in Elia bo officer Baba Nimbari. Go ntse le judgment in the past against government e lo re ya affecta. Me, if I remember, another request. Eneng ki fila hore gae mo tsamaisong ga re dumana le ona re le bogogi. So ne re na tsele la gente ya bone ra re ha re dumana le lona mme ha ga re dumalane. However, le khona hore le go ikuela ko pele. So what I'm trying to say here gore se engagement has been there. Le bana ba ba na le grievances. Hona le bana ba ile gore ba dirile the grievance.
I'm uncomfortable with Bana.
I think it's overused.
I'm uncomfortable with Bana.
Okay.
Can we
I'm sorry, sir. Let me withdraw my statement. The officers ba ile gore gompieno ba na le grievances. Ba ile ko go tsasekelo. Mona ba gompieno re were busy assessing gore a re dumalana le bona re le bogogi a ba re dumalane. Me a re sa dumalaneng teng re tlile go nna tsele agente a bona gore nya mme ga re dumalane re ka mpara ko pele. So in that case mongame ke le ka go supa gore accountability teng. We try that by all means. Where we could have erred, we will admit where we've erred. And we will say, having erred here, we found a solution, we will move ahead ka solution. So in that way, ke dumela gore accountability tsa le yone mongame. Mara we le ka issues of surcharge. Where a person is surcharged, we make sure that we follow the laid down procedures as much as possible. I'm not saying because the person morena as boy, but when we make a mistake, we'll be quick to admit to it. No, Hale for the person. Mehala, any such as according to the laid down procedures in government. Suspension, but to borrow any more suspension, and they're supposed to be suspended on pay. That has always happened. The only thing that does not happen.
And time.
And time. Exactly. We have erred in the past in terms of time. And we acknowledge that. And we have seen what towards that. Now, on the issue of the payment, Morena, who was put on suspension about a loser his or her pay. However, the Act stipulates clearly, you will not be paid overtime allowance. How much suspension? Because how to rate. That is the only one area where we have had arguments with some of the officers. Baba Nambara suspension and Bobar. No. Like you do suspension, you should give me overtime allowance. And the process in place is that you do not qualify for overtime allowance. How do you suspension? That is the one area where some of the officers, Baba Filan, they must get it, sir. And then the other one, Nelly, I believe, employment in the courts. Accountability, okay, in the subheading, yet no, the William Mongami. Kibeki Ago Tahamongami had. Yes, sir. Yeah. Mongame, I would say, don't have one in a hurry. I dare say, what are you doing about it? Ma? Sir?
Ya ni le DIS o tlhalosa gore DIS ke eng.
That's right, sir. Uno putsanta no DIS ke eng is Botswana safe. I Botswana ya gore DIS e ruthless. I Botswana gore social information nation or social media a ke molato. Apparently, allegation but twice members of the DIS, Pamopero DIS. Yan Tamong and Behor DIS again. DIS again, like a laha hormente. Lily Hilo my carabello at Cyril Zalahans. Yao be even now a DIS Hohunza. Gidumala Lambarana, Iki Leabo Hohunza. In the Ele Dilodimwe, say, Hooklian Naguare, Kid Halime Gilamata Pete. Hunahayema. Mora Humpiano. Hagidu made Hawanali, Mo Opamzana, you something Akata, Kopila Hamolaware, in the Kohunsuaki DIS. Deposit Israel Morena in the past, and we acknowledge maybe the kids are hard. Or Humpiano Bango Badra Habana better do so. By Lema Hotasagero, Irli Lonale. The constitutional right to have his hair, Mehala, Kiamaha.
So the Badiradi would say, without your knowledge.
Banabadi would say, without my. Exactly.
Badiradi would say, when also
they would come to my knowledge after this Nahudrahal, Kibiki Halema, to the point they get ring, Hadisa Halema Kizahat. They are all on suspension, those officers. Information e pass you again, Maki Zako Yole, social media, Biaquake Molato. Hagi do Melhoro Molato Mongame. How did I allow? Me, Hogari Tusa, Molto Tomisong, Hore, Gaugida Yazamahuena. Irtusore, Rezaguaragua, Regata Gohuena, Retaho Bata, who is Hore. Where's a guy? It's the Jango Huena, il est automiso. Ecte illetala le patala dia sohore, legatotomisa. So Yabo Hudrahala, ili ka ha molao o re tsamaisang o re hidden tetla ya hore ka dira jalo mme bothata bo tswa mo go ene yo tlang go go wena boitshwaro ba gagwe ke gone e nna bothata gone go ke dingwe tsa dilo tse ke reng ke diphoso tse di diragetseng ko morago mme ka go sologetsa mongame ga bona go diragala go mo ka gore ke tsere kgato e maleba ebile go a go pele o tla bona lephata le Batswana ba simolola go lemoga lephata le botlhokwa mo go bone
go hakeng ke bontsha bongwe ja gore karo ya no puso e changeile o ke lona hela ne la bona go thokala gore le change kana go utwe ke to kare ya no wa go pele re tsa mari itumetse re sotegile go lekane a ya no gore puso e ntšha kgotsa go dirwa ke
nya mongame ga se puso e ntšha ke re le ha re iteballa go tswa go morago even pele ga puso e ntšha e tsena ne re se re tsere kgato go ne go tle to the point e leng gore re tsere tshwetso ya gore ga gona go diragala yalo so ke maiteko a ra dirileng not because puso change le mongame it was as a way of improvement of our service delivery mongame ke tsa gore ke ne tsone tsa kere ampo gona le se go morago se
nya me gona le setseng through chair ne ke re lo re tlhalosetse gore itshireletsego ya lehatshe e teng go le kanang ka gongwe o ka hita ka eneo
thank you mongame se nka go se tsoletsa morena ke gore lehatshe le sireletsegile tshireletso ya lehatshe go na le mo go teng hard security and soft security hard security ke seemo se go na le borukgutlhi bo eteletseng tiriso ya dikgoka mo go teng di-armed robberies go na le terrorism mme be re lebela gape ko go soft security ke the petty crime e diragalang mo meseng mo toropong e leng gore go bokete gore o tswe mo lapeng la gago o ye ko lapeng le lengwe mo bosigong o sa tshoga go na le dikgang tsa gore bogodu ba leruo bo santse bo le teng ke soft security that has got an impact on the day-to-day lives tsa Batswana go na le soft security ya re thola ditiro go na le soft security ya makebetso ne tseo e le dikai tsa that are parallel between hard and soft security. Yeah, on the issues of hard security, you can never acquire it 100%. That's why le ha se le tshwana le ba America le go tsang gore ba go dimo thata mo itshireletsong go diragetse di kgang tsa terrorism go bone. Security is an evolving phenomenon. We have to work round the clock, keep on doing assessment and putting in place measures that will mitigate against those areas of security. So kabukusane ngare mongame la se le siretsegile.
No, through the chair. There is the last one. Nikirlo hongota ya batho ba ba duela e se ba gagwe gongwe le nna ke teke mo atumele gongwe a ntsenye ko payroll ya gagwe
mo mota intshwara go re ke dirile phoso mme ke utlwe ke bala mo go tse dingwe tse le intshwara le mongame I cannot what is the right word? I cannot deny or acknowledge. Thank you, sir. I cannot deny or acknowledge. Thank you, sir.
Among others, o ka re ha o tsamaya o hirela mo dikgang tse di sa go ameng we arabe le yona.
Makidi ba ke tswa ile mo go tsene ke di kwadile ke opare ke re tsona hape rena ke kgakolle recruitment parliamentary committee finance.
Eo a sampadi kgakolla chairman. No gona le nngwe ne kere a gone menne le tlhoka such a huge property. Ile yone ya 4,000 hectares.
Are boele ko. Ko ngare sa thola re teng ko. Oscar wa ya raba yo.
Yes, tsene di ko morago mo ngame ne le recruitment criteria parliamentary committee ke tsa rone the parliamentary committee ne e botsa gore teng committee ke di fa di ha bereka. Financing back pay of the members, participation of DIAS in elections, vetting what another Tuna Lodge, le farm, did tender. So get a couple of get a tsone jalo, ha ke sa khotsa thing, keeping up with happy. Put on daily recruitment criteria. Le kolala la DIAS khale le parloganya le makala mangwe. Re khana gore re yere motho ka re ke le godu without another qualification ka re ke le godu
Le khona mo hira le wa utswa.
re khona mo le ra utswa. That complements the activities tsa ditiro tsa rona tsa sephiri.
Gape ska tsena thata mo makeng. How yes.
That is part of the criteria to build certain specialities within the DIS. It is now calling for me to get into the operational side, which I'm very uncomfortable with. Me, ke ha ile example le gore e re ha ke ya go pele e be rena le tlhaloganyo ya gore re khona go hira ka tsela ntseng ya.
Yo re utula ro khona go hira motho ka gore ke le godu.
Emma.
Ga o tshabe le gona gore o tla le senyetsa.
No sir.
Le siamehela.
Re siamehela mongame.
Okay.
And the criteria e re ntse re dirisa go tswa ko morago go tla tsena ha re leng teng. Re ne re tlogela the decision making ya go hira to 3 people. We're not using the committee. Ne re dirisa the DG, the deputy DG, and the deputy DG. Throughout. There was a reason why re go ntse yalo. Mo gompienong, we have moved back to say we are going to now create the committee. Another committee ya piro, another committee ya promotion, another committee. They're already in place. So it's direct.
So
in the past,
yeah.
The decision ya gore re tsa mang yo go dira tiro in the responsibility of 3 people in the organization. There was the DG, the deputy DG, and the deputy DG. Go na le mabaka, operational and security reasons why that was done. Now that re kgonne go solve mothata bo bo neng bo le teng bo, we then said now is time we can be able to start the committee tse le gore as we speak di setse di simolotse go nna in place mongane.
Kore a kitura wa rabega kore a kere motho hirwa apply tiro ka gore go ngona e bona ya advertise ya go gongwe ya no lo na yone committee yone e ta we re itsoma batho khotsa ya reng gore batho ba itse le ba go bonong ba go go jango gore nya mme go a hirwa go DIS.
Committee e mongane ga e tsome batho ba dira mokwalo ba apply. Ha ba apply re tsenya into the database. Kana go re tla rata go hira re lebella pele mo database re batla motho wa moagi re batla motho wa di science and all that. Re ha bone ba priority ba re
ba itse jang gore go apply yo gore a ke re batla gore le ba go maungo a tswang teng ba itse gore go na le ko DIS e apply-elwang teng kgotsa DIS e amogela di-application malatsi otlhe ha e le di amogela malatsi otlhe o kwalela Director General o go na le website o go na le how do people get to know ba gantsi e le ba bangwe gore DIS yaanong ya hira e be kgotsa ya apply-elwa
mo gompieno mongame ya ka utlwa ke re pele no application eo ne re lebela gore re tlhoka which specialty headhunt the right people for that mo gompieno we are launching a website I think Killian Robert we are launching a website end of this month e leng gore ka nako e o tabang go hirwa go tatswa mo website gore di a se a hira so potso e ne ke araba ngame ke ne ke arabe ke tsa gore ke potso e boletsong ko morago gore what was the criteria ke ne ke le ka go focus go go le but now moving forward we have now started a different strategy ya gore we will have the committees we will have the website e tla re communicate le batsona ka yone ke tsa gore ke arabile mongame nka tswela se
e o ka tswela ke utlwile gore yaanong bana ba ko Ncamasere ba ka bona mo website gore DIS e talk about gore ka ha go ntse ka te piro e dira hetseng ko morago ine gongwe e attractile hela bao ba bane ba na le information otherwise ba bangwe they were excluded mme kana gongwe go na le mathale a mangwe a ka go thusang ba bangwe le mathale a go thuba matu a batho a ke rukana wa hira gona go hira magodu a thuba matu a batho le ba bangwe hela gongwe ba teng kobo gone kobo Bob City
potso engwe mongame ne le ya back pays of members of the organization ka ke tlhaloganyang potso ya ka teng mongame ke gore batho ba some of the officers within the organization ba reng are qualified as a finance officer as an example 2 years ago me mo gompienong ke kopa gore ya ka ke tabe ke tsengwa in the finance department ya organization
no sorry sir
Thank you, sir. Me e raga ke tsabeng ke tsengwa mo maikarabelong a ke na le tumelo ya gore ke sa re ke simolotse tiro eo ka nako ya gore ko morago. We have had such instance, and if I remember well, the people were paid madi a bone. That thing is actually more clear, more baneng ba the controlling ya gore they must be taken to C1 scale. When I had the payment in a back pay tsa bone. Ga ke itse gore a ke arabile mongame go nna botsa ka back pay. Am I on track on that one, sir?
o ne a botsa
Ka issue ya back pay. There was a question at back pay mo go tse ko morago tsele.
just ke kgonegile just gona
Participation of DS mo ditlhophong. DS as part of the government organizations, there's no way it can participate. The problem is how does it participate? If it participates in an unethical manner, it is wrong. But if it participates as part of the government security organizations of Botswana,
kore a kry yone ne tshwenya ka gore bone the current government ha ba le mo opposition ba ne ba go supa ka monwana gore you are meddling le dithopo tsa Botswana to the extent that even server yone keep and voters roll you have access to it and a kitso a mme go nnete gore o nona le access to server le tse dingwe tse e leng gore di ka go neela access to the voters roll. That was very worrying. I still think it's very worrying up to today. gore ha e le gore mme o ka kgona gore wena o na le dilotole tsa voters roll e kana o ka dira di akgamatsa
Mongame, certain things ke di perceptions. Mme kana re bua lwa ke lona le banga rona. Ha gona le perception wena le mongame o tla go gonna right go na le khankie ke ya raba ke re. Ke sentse gore ke nne le ba maruri ke go heka rabo o bo ka go nkarabela. Nna ke le mo dira puso mongame ga ke na le hoko ga ke gone go ipuelela. Ba maruri ke gore that is not correct. Ga se go dira gate. Ke di perceptions ya le mongame. Thank you, sir. The tender.
Kore yone eo,
Go ahead, just write up, please.
kore potso e rela gore government of the day ha go tla go tsena ditlhopho a le sekegela kore are you aiding it gore e wina ditlhopho mpo tota le dira tiro ya lona le se biased le sa support gore let's say UDC ha re a ditlhophong ka 2029 a le dira tiro ya lona ya le sa re kana patientsi busa metswelele ke rela gore in the past a ne go sa thusiwe BDP government.
I cannot deny or accept that, Moreno.
It's dangerous.
Operational issues, operational issues. What I can confidently tell you, Gor, during my tenure as the DG, that has never taken place. Never. We do our job as intelligence. We don't go to party in. During my tenure, I can accept when that has never happened. Before me, I cannot answer for it, Moreno.
Yeah, but do you give intelligence information to sitting presidents on issues pertaining to elections, for instance?
If you go to my act, it says I'm responsible as the DIS. I'm responsible for national security, economic, political, and military. We act as according to the act. Anything that we may be doing within the political landscape is done according to the act structure that we say. Thank you, Mami.
I have asked a question. The question is, do you give intelligence information to sitting presidents of the time? Information on elections and how they are likely to go, who is likely to win and who is influencing the direction of the elections at a particular point in time. Do you give that intelligence information to them? Because if you do that, you are also giving intelligence information to their political parties. That is why I'm asking this question and insisting on it.
So we give information on issues that can affect the stability of the country or national security, period. Not for no. Any activity that we deem to be a probable cause for instability within the country, it is our responsibility to do assessment and report to the president that we foresee this situation and we get guidance from that. And it is not only us who do that. All the three security organizations, we all do that. The police do that, the BDF does that, we do that.
Happy Chairman.
Here.
Kore, hela ka ne mongwe a botsa gore tota media ya se e dirang thata yana. Go motho go ka botsa gore e sala ka DIS nna teng Ramagosi the breakthrough tsa yone ke with regards to intelligence, with regard to security sa lehatsi gore le khone eng a le ke ra re bolella gore disaster e tla le ke ra re bolella gore senane sentse yana economy go rile yeah, so that out there Botswana ba feel gore DIS ka re ga e concentrate mo its core mandate ya go bona gore security, intelligence, what. So I thought I'll concentrate more your core mandate and the breakthroughs, Kikidiv. Sabo hello chairman. I get to whole in order. Go hello. Your brief background, le qualifications. Could I go on a deputy? I read a professional accountant, I can lawyer, I will to deal with some intelligence. Wrong or something, Uriana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mwami. Sir, Toda Hanzi Releka by all means where possible to avoid getting into the operational space, Salapata. Because when we get into the operational space, we are actually exposing a lot of things. And it is a pity, Mwami, the committee that we should be giving that information to. I see nothing, but I can assure you, once the committee gets in place, one, we have recommended in the past, once the committee nothing, as a country, our what is the right word? Our structure and everything is in line with the British structure. We had already made arrangements. Our counterparts were, so that our committee a lot of insight so that they are well armed. So we find it difficult into operational issues. Let's not go to the operational side of it.
Mr. Chairman. Follow more after we arrive.
Le kaskala tshwenya ka nako ya re ke simola go tshwenya ka yone ka gore nako is going way past lunch.
Nyame DG ke motlule bile ke tsa gore ke tlhaloganya gore o bua ka eng. But DG, even internationally, CIA, FBI, after they become successful, ko morago ba kgona go bua gore ke rona re ile gore Osama bin Laden a tshwarwe. They even tell us stage by stage. I don't see how Ray Skartana too much into what his question was. Hore, DIS, since from you, yeah, chiefly, you're the reason in Labazor, and I don't didn't see the license keepers or a mirror talk. So, Hargagray Pitagam non operational all the time. You have to tell us what you have done for us that is good in the past.
It doesn't have implications, maybe even for.
Yes. On the word classification, if information is not declassified, I cannot divide it. It has to be declassified. There's a lot. See, Lord, I wish we could be able to share. Make an act we can be able to declassify information before it gets into the public.
May I kindly write?
Yes, please.
Earlier on, you talked of perceptions, that most of what the public outcry is basing on is perception. Make a perception, to me, at least, it's a security threat. When people perceive, for instance, we have fake news now, but we have DIS. What are they doing about this new threat to privacy abatu, which effectively also affect security salahats? And then when we see new developments coming into play, DIS is a handler fake news through. There was a Facebook page by some guy, I forgot his name. More advancement in terms of technology. I mean, AI. Re ipotsa gore ha e le gore e ntse sa kgone gore protect against fake news, brewers. Yaanong AI yone e le gore yaanong it's even more advanced. Are we safe under DIS? So Ketsakere perception here needs to be dealt with as a national security concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let trade wars. What is DIS intake in that?
Yeah. O na le tse di sekanyana ho dipotso tse di setseng ke batla gore ke go neele tse pedi bo wetsa ka gore yaanong ba le bantsi ba lela ka nako.
Yes, sir. The next one in Elia, DIAS is getting involved in the tendering. Why is it DIAS involved in the tenders? DIAS does not make decisions on tenders, it advises. A tender, if something has happened that is not appropriate, the DIAS will advise the relevant ministry to say, this is what we see. The ministries, they take their own decisions. You don't tell them what to do. Mongamena bua ka example ya issue ya Maung project.
Yeah.
The actual company took us to court, but they lost. Why did they lose? Because we are facts. So, Harare re emisa tender ya gore no, we advise the relevant minister. This is what you see.
Are you not talking about the same company that was paid substantial sums of money without doing any job? Is that the same company?
That's the same company.
So, ibone madi amahala we say lona.
That's right.
Okay.
And had that thing continued without being stopped, this country would have lost far more than what it lost. So that's why the decision was taken at that time to say, let's advise the relevant minister to see this. And because the relevant minister saw that as a fact, that's why the company went to court, but it lost the case.
They lost the case, but they made a kill out of no work.
It is at the end of the day, Mangani, you look at the pros and cons. Should this thing continue, how much is this country going to lose? Should you rather lose now or lose more later? So these are the options that we give as advice. We don't dictate, we advise Mangani. And then the next one, Brananelia vetting. There are so many acting positions. The responsibility of vetting, we don't tell the ministries no, we give you what we have come to. We've done our assessment vetting. Only minister, you make a decision. So I would beg to differ the perception DSCB eveta. We've had that in the recent times, where some of the ministers would say, when we check, we find that we've actually responded. It's sitting with that particular ministry. It has happened before. But those are the things that we communicate the relevant ministers to say, look here, let's try and work closely together so that Haredi in any way. We try by all means to serve the different ministries as diligently as possible. So everything I beg to differ that thought.
Public confidence, perception like a threat. In line with what one member was also asking, fake news. As much as you cannot tell us what you have achieved, people see what you have not achieved, and to them it is a problem. Like continuous fake news. We saw one account running until of recent. How prepared are you? If you are not able to deal with a fake account, AI, should we have the confidence, we are not under threat our peace and security going forward.
Thank you for that. That's a very important one. I would like to believe, I can confidently say we are not under threat. I can confidently say that. Intelligence really knows as a country. We network in the region, in the continent, and globally. This problem here, social media and fake issues, we discuss these things throughout. Rally Forum as intelligence. There are strategies that we are working on, not only as Botswana, but as SADC, as Africa, and we connect to beyond Africa. There are certain challenges. They see no borders, just like terrorism. They see just no borders. What is happening here will be happening in Algeria, will be happening in Ghana, it will be happening in Zimbabwe. But for now, within the intelligence, at the operational level, there are a lot of things that we are working against these issues. We are tied to so many other international organizations, the UN, the AU, and many others. So we are looking at these threats not as individuals in Botswana. Some countries are actually facing even more than what we are facing. Like I said, it's turning to the operational side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
DG, a few last ones. We have sat in another room. You appeared at the PAC, and some of the things that we talked about, there are certain threats to national security that include high levels of poverty, that include high levels of unemployment, and high levels of inequality. We have talked about them. Just yesterday, I just saw the clip and repeated it. So where we are right now, we are a country that is facing some economic challenge of sorts. And issues of poverty, unemployment, and inequality could possibly be on the rise. Would you say these issues constitute a national security challenge to Botswana in the short, medium, or long term? That is the first question. Because I am operating under the assumption that these things, poverty, unemployment, and inequality, are rising rather than abating. So that is the first question. The second question, Kore, Ramagos, puso e ntšha, kana go botlhokwa tota gore ne re bua dilo gape re di buela gone ko pele ko. Puso e ntšha, puso e bua ka dikgang tse di tshwanang bo human rights. Tamaletse tota e bua ka dikgang tsone tsa human rights. Mme ke re lona le lephata la GIS, how are you aligning yourself? I mean, in the past 6 months, how are you aligning yourself with the human rights dimension that is being articulated by the new government? Are there any concrete issues or steps that you are taking to align yourself with the concept of human rights that the President of the Republic has talked about? Because you see, how much do you na puo hela e be lo re kgatha batho mme maphata a lebaneng a ba sa isa le morago le dira eng kgotsa le dirile in the past 6 months go gogela gone kong go gore jaanong le bole ka kgona go incorporate human rights in your practices as GIS. Re ska rata ra bona e le gore kae go ntse go gologolo hela mme re sologetse gore go nne le phetogo. Se sengwe ke gore puso e changile mme gape e changela mo seemong sa lethoko le le gagamatsa la madi. Are there any steps that you are taking go thomamisa gore in as much as le thoka madi a mantsi a no a bua gongwe le minimize di cost tsa lona as a department so that le tele ba balele one madi a siong a buang ke Minister of Finance gore ga le dira eng ke batla go utlwa very concretely gore a mme go na le tseo tse le di dirang go leka go minimize sone seemo sone se e nngwe e builwe ke bakaulengwe mme ne ke re ke tsenya another dimension go na le kakanyo e bileng gongwe ka lebega le boammaaruri and even a time a court of law pronounced on this that go na le gore jaanong ga gongwe le hirelele mo ditirong tsa mapodisi le itshunyanko mo tirong tsa DCC le bo litela le gore tiro tse di tshwantseng ka bone di dirwa ke bone batho bane bao lona le hetse le tseneletse mo teng ebile le ba kgoreletsa and for lack of a better word sometimes even bullying them a go mo ke nnete ha ile ke nnete ke le dira jalo a mme le ta go emisa go utlwa gore rona le dingwe tseo di emisitseng mo nako e itileng ngwe a tsone ke ne ke go kopile gore di emise ke itumela rona di emise a go thola le ipoka ka di siren yano ye yone a mme le ta emisa yone ya gore e re le phata le tshwana DCC le na le mandate wa lone e be le gore yano ka moso ke rona le hong le mekamekane le lone ebile ga gongwe go lebega e kete kwa le di-file le kana la di-demanda ko go bone ke re a kgang eo a mme ke ngwe wa dikgang tse le ta di emisang ka gore tota nna ke dumela gore le tshwanetse la di emisa le gore la di dira ne ke dumela gore o re clarify le sente mandate wa lona mandate wa lona ke is it not just to gather intelligence that you give to relevant departments so that they can execute their responsibilities as contained mo acting ya lona ke re gone go mo ga go hirella ke seo se se tshwenyang thata mme ha ke sena go rialo ke bo ke re ne ke na le yone ya litigation ka gore boata jolo jo bo diragetseng ko morago jo no bo ikothaela ebile o bua gore a ke batho a le bo dira bo ka tswa bo dirile gore le sekisiwe ke batho ba bantsi ke sone se ke reng ke batla go itse gore le hetse if you can le hetse le duetse madi a bokete jo bo ka either la duela directly or le a duela through ages le duela batho ba e leng gore le ne la gataka ditshwanelo tsa bone kgotsa la sekala tsamaisanya le bone le hetse le duetse bokae and if that is possible when you submit the documents in information you can submit in terms of in the last 5 years how much have you lost to litigation 4 years 3 years 2 years and 1 year so that tere bone bokete jone ja gore tota mme le lathegelwa ke madi a kana ka gore nna ruto batho ba re ba seka ba bangwe le ba lona ba bone bana ba gagwe ka o e toro go na le bana tsone di ofisara tsa gago ke re gongwe yone eo le yone ko o re inele re tere utwe sente gore a mme gone ga se gore lathegelwa ke madi a mantsi ka boata jo e leng gore bo ne bo dirwa ke bangwe ba e leng gore wa re ebile gangwe ba dira ba sa go bolelela ka tsone dipotso tsone tseo ke tsone tsa bogelo borra ke tsa gore di ta di araba
human rights ne ke go tlatse mo go ya human rights chairman gore gore for example re magosi ne go na le issue le ya ga Museveni mo e le gore ne go tshwenya batho tota hela gore go na le mongwe ya o faceless o sa direng dilo sentle ne le itse ka ene ampona ne le mo romile a kra kgantele o rile le kgona go roma motho gore a pretend gore wa utswa ke le godu 100 billion ele le yone gongwe re botsa gore go tsamayang ka yone ele ya butterfly mme go boela ka ke kopile gongwe a le ka re tla background ya lona bo go jang just the 3 main leaders I think.
Thank you very much, Mungani. What do we see as a threat more the current situation where there's unemployment, there's poverty? Don't we see them as threats? So we do see those things as threats. Earlier on, in the security, I spoke about the hard security and the soft security. So the soft security, falls within the economic and social part of it, we do see those things as serious threats. And I believe even in the previous PAC session, I had covered the same. For this we see as threats to our national security.
Where are we? Are we averting the situation in any way, or is being escalated to unacceptable levels?
We believe that through our participation in the assessment or the discussion on security issues with government, we believe that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We believe there will be improvement. But obviously time will tell. We strongly believe that.
No, not time will tell. We need your intelligence.
No, what I'm saying, Maragare, according to intelligence, we believe it will improve. Looking at the discussions that we have been doing, advising government on what we see, and getting the feedback from government that these are the areas that we are focusing on. We strongly believe there will be a difference in Moran. And then the second one, you said, what are you doing in terms of human rights issues? I believe everything that we're doing Moran today, human rights issues are part of that. Everything that we do. You will not be able to see it now, but look at the activities of the DIS moving forward. The activities on their own, Mungame, it will show you how human rights are being observed. And it's one of those things.
You say you are doing something, but you can't say clearly that we are doing A, B, C, D, E to incorporate human rights into our culture and into our operations.
It is, we have gotten into a different way of doing things. Can I give an example? There's so many things that we're doing as a way to turn around the entire organization. And everything that we're doing as different pieces that make the system move, human rights is observed. I can promise you, sir, that you will never have any problem going forward on issues of human rights. Mongame,
yeah, I get it out tona. Wale hatsela Botswana. Ona bua a papa metsi mo khoteng a bua gore go mo go tshwantse go eme. Me bile la go kata go go ene. E le gore mo go dirile ka bo here. He wouldn't even care to listen.
It will never. No, sir. Tautona, urile, hagona go diragala. Ga o se go diragala. Ha re batla go reetsa, ra go khote. Khote e re ha tetla gore khona go reetsa mongane. And we'll do that. We'll definitely do that, sir. So, ga gona gope, I promise you, ga gona gope. Ha o tana le ngongorego, o le motsadi gore ngwanaka hale until it will not happen. Everything will be done according to the law. That's the fact, sir. It's a promise, Morana. Thank you, sir. And then, okay, human rights to be like interference. There's been a lot of concern in the past for a DIS interferes. I strongly believe excuse me.
Let me just interject here.
Yes, sir.
You are traveling, right?
We are traveling tonight, sir.
Right?
We are traveling at 6 o'clock.
Is your time okay?
It's bad. If we could be out by 4, because we need to be at the airport by 5, sir.
Okay, that's fine. We will make sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I would refer to the Act. Kitorma ufisarama warabale kilozi khala sebran. Mbala section 1.
Section 5, subsection 1, subject to subsection 3, the function of the Directorate are to A, investigate, gather, coordinate, evaluate, correlate, interpret, disseminate, and store information, whether inside or outside Botswana, for the purposes of I1, detecting and identifying any threat or potential threat to national security. 2, advising the President and the government of any threat or potential threat to national security. 3, taking steps to protect the security interest of Botswana, whether political, military, or economic. B, gather ministerial intelligence at the request of any government, ministry, department, or agency, and without delay, to evaluate and transmit as appropriate to that ministry, department, or agency such intelligence and any other intelligence at the disposal of the Directorate, which constitutes ministerial intelligence. C, regulate in cooperation with any government ministry, department, or agency entrusted and any aspect of the maintenance of national security, the flow of intelligence and security, and the coordination between the Directorate and the ministry, department, or agency, or functions relating to the intelligence. D.
No, you're reading the whole book now.
Ke ne ke batla gore
gona go pega go teng o tshwantse gore o ngotse ne go wildlife bo dira tiro ya wildlife kgotsa ko mapodisi o dira tiro ya bone kgotsa ko DCC o dira tiro ya bone go yo go
ga o ya morena
o tule sentle.
yes jaanong mo nako e hitileng re ne re lebella certain activities re di lebella e le issues that affect our responsibility as a custodian of national security. I'll give an example. If the nation start to lose confidence in any other ministry or department, that loss of confidence is here to the point where it affects the running of the country. We look at that as an issue of national security, and therefore, that's where we intervene. Now, all the other areas where in the past we were seen to be intervening, it was not done with the intent.
So it's intervening, not interfering?
No, intervening, sir, not interfering. The other person might be saying it's interference. But we, on our side, we said, no, it's intervening. Because the situation is escalating to the point where the nation loses confidence in government. That's the point of national security. That's why we intervene. However, I would like to believe her. As time went on, we had to sit down and say to each other, okay, fine, let's try and define ourselves in this way to avoid that. Where we are today, I believe you'll never hear that again. Because we kept on sitting down, reevaluating how we are working as interagency organizations. And we came to the point there, no, but Arieming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
We just hope what you are telling us is the truth.
Hold me to that, sir. Hold me to it.
Yeah.
Hold me to it. I will not disappoint you or any one of our senior officers.
You know, Chairman, but somebody told me, How about intelligence? They cannot deny nor confirm. It's all grey.
E ke rata gore molebile a ke re motulo o ra reng o eta gone ha a re rata bantsa a hirile mo tiro e mo go ta o ta gone a re ta go bona motho o ha a tsaola sesha le timona le ntse le teng re ta bua ja er
Thank you, Mngani.
ona le mitsa le re fana.
The other one, it's already active Mngani ke tlhalose a le gore e kgone gore thusa go tlhaloganya gore the investigating powers are part of what they have to do. Museveni, ba ba ntse Museveni, ha mme ba Museveni ba botlhe morena, we were following them throughout. But re be re nna le our own ways without attracting the public attention to make these people understand what you're doing is harmful to the country. So but we are still engaging by the online papers. We are communicating what we want to do Mara, is to try and educate people, make them understand whatever activity we do it, especially within the social media space. Do it to build a country, not to break the country. So this is what we continuously do. We know what other colleagues like Baba Police, how talk sense into him. So these are the things that we cannot stop, Morena. To be honest, we can't stop it.
But you can substantially reduce them.
Exactly.
To levels that are not.
That's what we are fighting to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
But couldn't my question Kamutu, Ampobato, Bakaro, Babanti, Baturun Sitzele Hatsi, Baturun Sebato for a very long time. Aligila Copalewa Nelava Kalimela. I think that's my, and I have a little Kalimets and never Utra, or it went on for a very long time.
Thank you, Mangami. Bane ba utlwa mme ka re motho ke motho se bane ba utlwa mme tla re khantela hale o nga ba simolla mme ga re se re pelo we continuously spoken to them ba online media. I think the last time re kopane le bona ke 3 months back, where we tried to sit down and say, look here, give us an opportunity, let's say our side of the story. Not only us. Any government department, your job is to keep the nation informed. Our job is to keep the nation secured. We need each other. And therefore, we try by all means to keep on talking to them. We have even gone to the point of sitting down in Labour, MISA, Labour, what's the other one? Interest Forum. Because we have always said we need each other. Lona, as the media space, you must keep us on our toes. Where we mess up, you will hit us. And we're not going to take offense out of that. At the same time, reporting in a responsible manner, not is something we'll continue doing throughout the. Thank you, Madam.
Nyami, ke tsa gore di weditse go setse go na le tshukatshukano ka kwano ba bangwe bo tsa bana ba bangwe ba fly go thatanyana mme ke tsa gore di weditse re tere lebelele dibuka tsele o na le sengwe ka
ne ke re ka re na la bofelo chairman
right
DG go fale wa rabile bontle ga o bua o butsa potso ile ya interference when our intervention. But there's a court case here at Nerote you have overreached and you lost that case. So court is a more credible in this case. Or there are instances where you have interfered. I hope how ga ona go tswelela ka dilo tseo ra la ka re le fa re bua yana re bangwe ba rona re bua re tshogile ka gore your institution has got a very terrible reputation ba ga malate ha ba ka utlwa go te ke tsamaile le latele monao but I hope re fetogile e nngwe ya misinformation and fake news.
One perception in the we were key report. Can I cue ne? I got a word na wena hayana. Wena ya no o ka tsora ka yetsa ka go sela ka utlwe monna yo a buare ha go ka dikenyeletse go le bua monna nna ke ta mo tsora hela mo gore nga ro hetugile
ke wela ka engwe ya di fake news ra trampieko ya ka bua wa raba sentle Museveni o nyeletse le change of government which clearly indicates to me gore he was an instrument of the former regime aided by the DIS. I say this because Museveni sometimes had such explosive and secretive information. Your type or your organization is the only one that can access such. Ra bua bo ntlagampieko mme ke a itse ga gona ope o ka buang a dirile phoso ba re ke irile jana so go jang in your field ra ya ka bua you cannot confirm or deny re go tlile a dilo tse di emeretso a dilo tse di emere mo governmenteng o mosha go tlile ba ba shwa re tlile go bua gona le your predecessor who once said there gore no one can control him. I like ka fo o le mbiko ka teng me ka fukilitseng ga te le khona go ira alo le the other way a go se amera
ya ne ke re ke ira follow up mo dipotsong tse ne se di boditswe Mr Chairman ko gore ke le mo ga gore DG do la hana ko e chaile gona le dipotso tsa khona go di tidisa matha ke tsora ba sa di kwa khanye ya 100 billion kana go se ona le mena huna gore ne le scam ke ba Al Jazeera. So I can no confirm ka gore ne e boditswe
Thank you mami ke kopa gore ke ska ka khela mo khanye ka gore sentse le ko makgotla tsekelong mme go ha re bideng ka go sebetsa ka go ama version mo mme ha ke kopa gore ka ko makgotla tsekelong mongame e ka tloga ya ka senya sengwe. Thank you mongame
nyame ke tsa go ra buile ne re le mo executive summary mera bore tola ga pere ya ka ko Auditor General's report because kgang kholo ka ko Auditor General's report if you may correct me in e le yone ya Tuna Lodge go teng ga yo mo di asseteng tsa puso re bona hela hotel la re tennis yo ko re na le buka e tona e ga ke yone asa e se yo ko matshwenyego ene la ona mine ke re ka buka ha go ibile nyenyane ga se gore go ngore tsene mo yone memorandum of progress re bore ka wetsa di khantsa rona tsa letsatsi re di tsere ka le bagale lele a ke tsora monna yo thabo e konto e me ha gonna no we are going what trasa no.
Thank you, Chair. Can I proceed?
Yes, please. Yes,
Thank
please.
you. Yeah. There isn't much like Ubile Chair more reporting your DIS in terms of the accounts and the Auditor General. But more page 12, Chair, the comments that system problem. Like we said in the morning, said the system problem, we'll address them and get back to the committee as and when we resolve them. They have been reported to our office, we are aware of those. And then we'll move on to page 20. Unless but we can move on to page 20. On page 20, item withholding tax. The comment is that they had engaged, the agency has engaged the BRS. We don't have it here. If they have, they can submit it to this committee chair. And lastly, on page 23, similarly, there is no evidence pertaining to the comment. There was an advance that was created, and later on there was a refund which lies outside this reporting period. So evidence e re e kopang hela ke yone ya the creation ya the salary overpayment and the deduction that was made. Thank you, Chair. My colleagues are here from the Auditor General. Have an listening with all assist. Thank you.
Ke kopa hore ke nele my Director of Finance mo ngame atla a tlhalosa. Thank you, sir. Nya ikhusana mo ngame nka tlhalosa. Ke tsa di officer ba ba neng ba itsetsa madi a puso. Yes, sir. Ke ba go ana mo dikgetsing ba batla mo dikgetsing so re kgona go re reconcile e be re batla le kgato mo ngame. Ke tsona hela tseo se.
So ra re go motho gore batho ba itsele madi.
Mme gape go motho gore ba tshwaro se.
Go motho gore ba tshwaro. Ke ra go motho gore ba tse wone madi a teng ka ora go mme ya no le kgona go ba tshwara ga.
Ke motho yo na hilo maikarabelo a go tlhokomela madi. Ya no kana ke na tshwarang khi. Ga ka nna le bothata ba gore a kgone go tsaya madi mme ka gore we have measures in place to ensure for those gaps ga di teng. That's why go tsere kgato yo mongane.
Ya me ntwetse ona le nngwe gape Maskoba.
Chair, that those were the only ones. I said they'll be closed with the technical advisor, and those that needs to be monitored or elite memo, she will do the same. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Technical advisor.
Okay, maybe let's just rush through. Like I didn't. Page 12 will be memos, and then the rest is monitor up to. And then page 19 is closed. And then 20, it's memo. 21, close the first one, memo the second one. Page 22, kitty memo. 23 memos. And page 24, memo. And then page 25, you close the middle one, memo that the other two are done.
Okay. Yeah, you can ask a question. Quick one.
Yeah, a quick one. Earlier on, Mr. Chair was asking on litigation. Or has there been incidents where just maybe a ballpark figure, or because we have in here people who are surcharged, or were any officers charged by yourself or the public in their personal capacities? Do you have any cases before court? Yes, it's a DIS, but it's individuals who work for DIS. And if so, what has been done to resolve such? Were you charged? I mean, do the individuals pay or laba as DIS?
Just a read up on that one. Yeah, accounting officer are very clear to this committee. And I read regular hearts. Hongar bolella gore ha motho a itsetse madi a puso go tua mo seemong se gore go to surcharge because that is a criminal offense. Ha ke dumelana gore o ka re wa mo surcharge without court sentence or judgment. O bo mo surcharge hela belo gore wena o mo tsela dikgato go phelong ya letsatsi ka ra motho ntseng ya lo tshwantse ra hela dismissiwa gano go ngwane very clear gore bone ba surcharge hela a go possible.
Take that one.
Okay. There are cases where, as employees, gongwe in our line of duty, re bo re chargiwa in our personal capacity. Do you have incidents tse di ntseng jalo where people were perceived to have acted ka tsela nngwe under your employment? Maybe le bole ba cover ele case tse le gore maybe na vicarious liability now, and the government coffers get to pay batho ba gonna yalo. Do you also have, in the same line of thinking, people who lose their jobs on perception, they overreached whilst carrying duties to the agency? And if that is the case, what has been done as a remedial action to such people? My interest here is welfare, your current and former and future, because I'm a trade unionist, so I will always speak for those people. Or do you have those that are out because they were perceived to have done something, DISA whereby or something? Thank you very much.
Okay, we understand.
Thank you, Mongami. During the past tenure as the Director General, sir, we have never at any stage gone into a situation whereby an officer does something out there and we as the organization, it has never happened. Two, should there be any situation, it will be assessed. Una actor his own personal interest or her personal interest or national interest. And those are the factors that we'll consider before taking such a decision. That has not taken place, madam.
Okay.
On the issue ya Mongame Lisediane, can you go to Simulaga on a page?
nya ne kere gongwa ko nne very clear gore I know gore under disciplinary le ka tsela motho disciplinary action kore ke ra mo gore ha le sa charge lona hela le sa charge millionaire those powers, because kana go mo it's a criminal offense ke yone ne ke batla gore o nne very clear ke yone.
To follow up on this, I mean, there was a matter concerning a minister, I think it's in the public domain, against some 70 matter. I think the parties in that matter was not DIS, but some officer or officers within the DIS. I don't know how far the matter is in terms of its conclusion before the court, but along that line, do you have incidents where an individual will be picked, you are caught, and then what will be your reaction to such? In particular, this one, one officer who take him 7.
Is this the case of Unity Dow?
Yes, on that one,
the Unity Dow versus
him, the officer acted in his personal capacity, took the matter to the courts. Even though it is something that say a malepata, but the officer felt horror. I would not want to be limited, and he did that. But what is important is to make sure that you do not divulge any information that came into your possession by virtue of your employment. That was the determining factor. Or you will not be allowed or where who expose the operation is partner. Make out of Igamela is okay. When Igamela in that issue.
okay.
Mungami, 3 documents that govern our operations. The DPSM Act, the DS Act, the what DPSM Act, DS Act, and no. Huh? Not lives in the water.
Sorry, get that.
Okay, that's right. Okay. Sorry, sir. With 3 documents, the governor, the National Security Act, the DS Act, and the DPSM Act. So every activity, every dirang, it must be in.
Yeah, for correction. Yes. Not sure hora ki DPSM kana ke Public Service Act.
Ki Public Service Act under the DPSM. Thank you for that, sir. So every activity, every dirang, we make sure that we do it within the bounds of those documents binding us to do certain things in certain ways. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Ke dumela gore ra buile. Oh, okay.
There is also the Public Finance Management Act, which regulates the power of surcharge, where the power of surcharge has been devolved, delegated to the accounting officers. Your neighbor assistant, thank you.
So, banale marapo le tshwanelo.
To an extent, in terms of where they can write off or where they can abandon.
Surcharges the surcharger.
Say.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, let me just.
Attorney General.
No, even kind of administrative action can be taken against a particular person. Say Ajile Madi, Utsuli. But at the same time, criminal investigations can be started and a docket sent to the DPP for prosecution. Those can go parallel.
Okay.
Chairman, never do it. Sort of a background there.
Background there. Hey, no, nake ki dumela go ra buile batsetso. Ra buile marele bo ge ba DIS gore bo ba tsile kwano ba taba araba dipotso tsa mapalamente ke tsa gore le di arabile ka bojote ja lona re utule gore khaya ta Tuna Lodge e tsamaile ka tsela entseng jang re emetse di documente re ta di leba re borele ka go establish or tota mme se re di boleletsweng ke tsone jaaka di boleletswe le utule gore DG o supa gore ba tsetswe sešwa ka ha ke mo utlwang ka teng mme ebile ke utlwa a bua gore in all their activities they are anchored on the concept of human rights. A re ba lebe tota maratsi re ba lebe tota ke itse gore molete o ka re o tshogilenyana gore a ba kopane le ene magosi go raya gore o mo mathateng ya nna ke ra kopana le ene mme re ntse re teng tsa gore ke dumela gape gore o thuswa ke banna ke bale monna yo a mo thusi wa go kuta gore ke agente ke tsaya gore ga go te human rights wa itse gore go tsamaelwa kae yo la ke itse gore ke ene o bete o nkileng ka moruta bogologolo ke ene eo e gore a ngwe a kopa le nna balatsi o kae wa ndo ja ke itse gore matago ke obet ke motswana hela ka batswana ba bangwe o nne o bua le nna go tsa go tshaba ene magosi mme ke re na le dijo re na le dijo gone a se gore lela ditso lote mme ba le leng teng re ka tsamaya o thaelang a itsegela gore ko re ne re le bantsi thata so mme re ka tsamaela ko dijong mme ta re ga le tsamaela ko dijong ba ta le supetsa ke ha longe ke ha longe ta bona ta re ke ha longe so rona e tare ha le tsamaela teng le ba ka etse home rona bo re sala 2 minutes hela go dira housekeeping matters rona ke ra le bone ba the 3 AGs ba ta salahan ba supegetseng go ba ka bonang dijo teng batho betso re berekile tiro e thata tsa tseno re chaisa ka what's the time now almost 4 me re dira last job tumelo ya me ke gore tse re di dumalaneng ga di tla diragadiwa batho betso ke a leboga. Thank you very much, Ramagosi and team. Ibile wa saluta. Kera le sedi kare ibile wa saluta. One for man wa saluta. Right. Thank you very much. Erra. Hatser di buileng ha.